June 13th. We're at the Alan Bondison's apiary. I'm Tony Polsoni. We have Emily O'Neill, our college intern for this summer, here videotaping. We're going to go through a colony that Alan has put a new queen in. So he had a nuke. It's good practice to have some 5-frame equipment handy. He had a queen. He had a colony there. He had a queenless hive. He was able to take a frame with the queen from the nuke and immediately introduce a laying queen into your colony. The advantage of that is that when you have a queenless situation, they will immediately accept a laying queen. They will accept her, and because you already have a working queen. When you introduce a queen from a cage, hopefully she's all ready and raring to go, but she's not producing the pheromones like a laying queen would. So when you have the introduce a queen and some brood along with her, those are good pheromones for a colony. Okay. And you can, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this up there, but feel that one. Feel that. Just tip that right upside and put it right up there.
Oh,
that's a nice one, huh?
That has nice heft.
I don't even need a brick for that one. Put that right on the brick.
Right on the brick.
Yeah.
So these are the entrance reducers. We do not recommend using these entrance reducers as entrance reducers. Mice can chew through the wood. The bees can chew through the wood. You're better off with metal mouse guards and to reduce the size of your entrance. But this is an excellent use for those things that come along with your bottom boards and come with your package kits.
Leftover pollen patty. They never ate, finished eating. I put a whole slab on there, so that's what's left, I believe.
So this is from overwinter?
Oh yeah. Not much on the bottom. I'll just tip this a little bit so they can just kind of leave it there. Let's just see what we have up here on the, before I even go down, see if there's anything up here. I'm just curious.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of activity here.
The queen was on this side when I put her in the top of the brood chamber. Nothing here. It's kind of light, nothing here. Well, let's just make sure. Check that.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, it's very light. There isn't any nectar in here. There's very little activity.
Nectar in here. Nothing else, so. What's all this wax that's doing this?
It was attached to the other frame.
Yeah.
So this is burr comb. It's also called bridge comb between the faces.
Yeah.
What you do want to do is remove that, especially with if they start filling this with honey. Because if this frame is filled with honey and it's capped and you have these bridges between the frames, as soon as you lift it out, you're going to tear and have streaks, and when you start to remove honey from your supers, if you do that during a dearth, you're going to create potentially a robbing situation.
Okay.
So what you also have here, you have these bridges, but if you look on the width, on the face of the comb, see how this is nice and even, and this is all wavy? What you can do is take a serrated knife and chop this all off and put this against a face that is all smooth. Because if this starts getting bulgy, then the next frame is they're going to bulge in. So this is convex, the next one will be concave. And if you try to start moving this around, the bee space will be violated. It just creates a mess. So it's better to clean it off when you have a chance than to let it go.
Okay, yep, just throw that in. I think we're all set here because nothing's up top really.
Yeah, there's no activity in here.
There is some honey coming in there.
Yeah, a little nectar, but not a whole lot going on.
Okay. Okay, ready? I'll take this off. Oh, look at that. Didn't even put it on right. I'll take this off.
So immediately, we see a smaller colony.
Yeah.
Here's brood area. Very little activity here on frame 1. Very little activity here on frame 2. In fact, I'm just looking down and there's very little comb drawn. So you could remove frame 1 or frame 2 here. Frame 1 or frame 10 here. Frame 2 is drawn out.
That's the new one.
So,
Pretty sure that one. But anyways.
because there's very low traffic over here, you can safely remove this frame. And because this frame is drawn out, and
Start with 1.
we'll start with 1 instead of 2.
Got it.
So generally you want to
Yep.
you want to remove frame 2, but you have to play it by ear. Do what the bees are telling you to do. Don't impose your will. This is where the bees are. If you, Emily, why don't you swing around? Have a nice capped frame. Here you see, I'll remove this just for convenience.
Yeah.
Really, really dark nectar. Really, really
Heavy.
dark cappings. This is really heavy.
Beautiful.
So this is probably left over from the winter.
Could be. Or
Looks
feeding.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably fall winter, but they're filling in all of these other frames. This is all nectar in here. I'm guessing it's from the winter just because it's so dark, because the cappings are so dark. Here we have really tight, dark face, but you have this nice white capping that's going in. So, darker, a lot more traveled upon capping. Really, really white, light capping. So, could be from the fall, or it could just be it was shifted over. But heavy, heavy, heavy. You can even move this frame over since it's all capped and have them give them space with the other frame to start filling in. Gloves are getting all sticky, so I'll wash these with alcohol after the
We got
fact.
alcohol. Karen. We have alcohol wipes.
Oh no, I have some rubbing alcohol that I can take care of after the fact. So I'm just looking down at the face. They're starting to fill this in. Again, where are the bees? Where the most bees are, that's where your brood is going to be. So we can just slide this over. Slide this over. Cappings, cappings. I like to go immediately down into the brood box. Oh, you have a cracked frame right here?
Yes, that's going to be a tough one. I'll just take that one right out. That's from a bear. Now hold on, she's a little bit unstable, so we'll just kind of...
We can just leave her in.
I'll just take that from right
So you
now.
can
We
see-
got some...
This is the
drone
outside
comb.
of the brood area, because this is where the drones are. So you have honey, you have the drones, and then we'll start to get into the brood area. We're still in the second box. Usually I like to go down into the other box first, but
I think I did. I put the queen right up here, so...
that's
that
why
doesn't
we're
mean she
starting
see
up
it.
here.
Drone cells.
Yep. Lots and lots of drone cells.
That's all I'm seeing. I'll leave that out for now.
Lots and lots of nectar.
I'll take it. We can do the next one.
Okay.
Got it.
Oh, heavy, heavy, heavy. Yeah. We're not going to see any brood in here.
Okay.
Not going to see any brood. This is all capped.
Second one you should see. Number 2.
Number
From the
2?
other end.
Over here at the other end. Okay, let's... Yep. Number 2, see some brood. Number 2, see some brood. That's exactly what we see. Nice pattern. I don't see any eggs here, but this is mostly capped. Okay.
No queen on there?
No queen, no eggs.
What's that? Number?
This is number 9. Thank you, Emily. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. So she'll come back and lay again.
Yep.
How do you know? I mean,
Well, hopefully, if we don't find her, if we don't find eggs, then
Probably down here. Hopefully down there.
you think she went down, or why would she go down?
This could just be... So why would you go down? We have a lot of honey here. The cluster in the winter tightens up into a ball. In the summer, it starts to loosen up, but it's still going to be generally spherical, maybe some ovoid, like a big football, but you're still going to have that shape. So this can just be the top of that.
Oh, so this is probably the one nice and light, came from the,
Nuke.
yeah.
So this is the frame that Alan introduced
okay.
from the Nuke. He introduced the queen with a frame of brood right here into the top box. So we're gonna have to see what we see on the bottom.
Oh, look at that, nice brood there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
One would think if she really needed to, they could have replaced, started a new queen if they had to with some of those eggs that were there. Now they're not eggs anymore. Okay, let me get these other things in there. Give me some room and I'll put those in, these in. Ooh, hold on. Look what I see here. An empty queen cell.
Oh, on the bottom.
No, right in the middle.
On the middle?
See it? Broken
Oh,
open?
yeah.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Now they could have been, that's in the middle. That's where you would expect to see a supersedure or an emergency cell. But it was started. Alan, they were probably starting to really get worried. But Alan introduced a new frame, new queen. So they just tore it down.
And maybe I tore it down when I opened it wrong or something, right?
Could be.
Am I taking too much time here doing this stuff?
I don't know. I don't see why.
Okay, I will put this one back in. Ooh, son of a gun. And I'll put this one right beside it. What the heck?
That was number 1.
That's right, it was number 1, yeah.
Yeah.
So I like using the J-hook. That's just the way I was brought up. You can also use the standard Hive tool to move frames over here. You can also use it to lift up here. I just like the, I grew up with the J-hook, so that's what I do. I do prefer the standard Hive tool for breaking apart the boxes.
Can I get behind you?
Yeah, sorry. Of course.
So, looking down, what do we see? Colony right here in the middle. Not a lot of activity here on frame 10, 1 and 2. not a lot going on. So if there's going to be brood, if the queen's going to be in here, this is generally where she's going to be. In that other colony that we did earlier during the Zoom live presentation, the colony was like this, where it was honey and brood and everything was on this side and these frames were empty. Just look for where the biggest presence of the bees are, and that's where we expect to see the queen. Now, you can remove frame 2 here, but you see lots of bees looking around. We can remove frame 10. It's all foundation, it's not drawn, there's nothing going on. So we can remove that and then start to move frames around so that we can inspect. Here. So, we've just drawn, we have a spider walking around here.
A spider? Yeah, they'll take care of them.
Yeah. I think I flicked it off. Okay.
Now we got a cell, open cell on the bottom of that one. It looks like a queen cell or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's on the bottom.
This is the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go over and
Okay.
do a zoom in. Say again? You want to go through the other? I always like going into the center. What you see, and then if you see the queen, if you see eggs, if you see a good pattern, you're done.
I know. But I like to walk in gently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you could end up going all the way through.
So just different different approaches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just because I'm here already. So these are plastic frames, and you do need to be gentle with them. If you see when I'm moving them over, they can bulge, they can move. They're not quite as sturdy as the wood frames. So here we have a some procedure cells. We have 2. One here right at the face. There's another one over here next to all of the drone comb. Looking around, but nice brood here. We see larvae. Not seeing any eggs, but larva that's probably a week old. Another couple of supersedure cells or emergency cells. Go right out. Alan, what are you seeing over there?
Similar, I guess. Dark cells. Honey. That's how I see honey. Oh, no, what's on this side? Honey.
Sweet. Did we see any bee bread at all?
That's a good sign if we do.
Yep. Excellent observation. Okay, I'm seeing eggs here.
That's good. Which could be on here.
So, not sure if you can
Pick it up with the camera.
pick it up with the camera,
Right.
but there's older larvae over here, and then again, nice spiral pattern. I see eggs.
Awesome.
There's some drone brood, and the eggs are right around the drone brood. Over there, eggs out here. Don't see a queen. We have some pollen here at the periphery. little, not a lot, but some orange and yellow pollen, orange and reddish pollen over here at the corners.
Do you see eggs on the other side?
Bee bread here.
Oh,
Might have
nice.
been there for a long time ago there.
Oh, okay.
Try to be gentle, trying to avoid getting stung. Try to avoid squishing any. Look at that.
Beautiful.
These we have some
Awful
weird
active.
drones over there, but we have some pollen around the periphery. Look at this side. And again, I'm trying to hold the frame as I'm inspecting over the colony,
Bee
because if the
bread. Fresh bee bread.
fresh bee bread, because if the bees drop or if the queen drops, she'd fall back into the colony, into one of the boxes, as opposed to off on the ground where you definitely don't want her. Got some drones over here. So we've seen eggs.
Yeah.
That's
See
good.
different
Oh, and just
pattern.
born.
Yep. Still trying to figure out what's
That
what.
might have been an old pattern before I put that new queen in. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Now they put her in last week.
But we see eggs. We saw a nice older larva here, eggs out on the peripheral. So the new
Okay.
queen's spiraling out, which is exactly what you want to see.
Okay. Where do we take this from? Number 1?
I think we took that from number 10.
Yeah, it was 10.
10. How do you guys do 1 through 10? How come I'm calling it 1?
Or I always count left to right from the rear.
From the rear.
So starting over here would be 1 through 10.
Oh, I just do it on base, whatever side I go in.
Find a system that works for you,
Right.
stick with it.
Yes. That's what I found.
So before you close up, push the frames together. Maintain that bee space.
Right.
You violate bee space at your peril.
Okay.
Nature abhors a vacuum. Bees are part of nature. Don't give them a reason
No.
to make you unhappy. Don't give them a reason to do more work building comb where you don't want it, where they don't need it.
Exactly.
Let them go out and gather honey. Let them go out and gather propolis. Let them go out and gather pollen. Water for cooling. Don't make them work any harder than they have to.
Well, we had a pool here, and the bees were out back, and they didn't mind it. They were always around here, but nobody got bothered by it. Now we have a swamp back there. It's actually kind of dry right now.
I feel like y'all are going through a drought right now.
We
They
are.
don't mind
We
swamp
are.
water, and they don't mind pool water. So.
It's been very, very dry. And just pan around and look at the graph.
I know, right? Yeah.
And we can look at some of the, well, if it was drier, well, if we had enough water, you wouldn't have to, if we had enough rain coming through, you wouldn't have to water it. And
I don't
it'd
want
even
It
be
would be
lush.
good,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Sometimes they get stuck on the wax, I think.
yeah.
And sometimes they're just fooling me. They can go anytime they wanted to. Come on, girls. All right. I think they're sucking the honey off my hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm not getting as many attacks, or I'm sticky with propolis and little honey and wax, and that's what they're smelling. They're not.
Yeah.
Now, I came in here with a fresh pair of gloves to work Allen's. After, when I go home, these will get disposed of. I like the dishwashing gloves. These are a little loose. I got a big pack from Home Depot. I like them a little tighter. I like they're textured. They're meant to be grippy. It's just what I like to wear. And everybody does it differently. Alan doesn't wear gloves.
No, when they don't have to.
When he doesn't have to.
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had a colony that was not queen right. Didn't have a queen. Alan had a nuke. It's nice to have a nuke during the summer, because if you run into a situation where you don't have a queen, you can go to your nuke, introduce a laying queen immediately. You want to take a look at the nuke?
Sure, good. I usually just pull that up somewhere.
Yeah.
I still don't know what to do with the nuke. You know, okay, so is this just my queen supply if I need one?
Queen supply in the winter. You can always take another 5-frame box, put it together, overwinter it. What I would do is put it between 2 colonies, put insulation around it. Ideally, if you had 2 nukes, you could push them together, put insulation around on top, and so what you'll find is when you go in the winter, you'll find the cluster in the center. One nuke is warming the other nuke. They're keeping each other warm.
Okay, here we go.
But you can put a weaker colony in between. You can get a double screen board, put a nuke on top.
Let's see what we got. I'll just put it right over here low to the ground, right? How's that? Really low?
Okay.
On my stable package, stable stand of 5 packages.
I've actually never used one of these. I'll have to defer to you on how to
Yeah, this is new to me.
open it.
So, here's the top.
Yep.
I think they must have glued it down. Yes, they did. Now, if I was going to travel, now take a look at the sides here. See how they can get in?
Yeah.
If I was going to travel, this goes this way.
Ah.
Oh, cool.
Right?
Yep.
And down.
So they have a front entrance and a rear
Yeah,
entrance?
they can go either.
Going either way. Okay.
This is a little thing right here they can go in. But they're not on this side. It's only on this side.
Okay.
So
we have a 4-frame. Is this a JZBZ, or what's the?
what's that?
Do you know what's the make of
I
this?
have no idea.
Okay. So we have bees all over. We have some bridge comb over here. I'm not seeing a lot on that side, so we'll pour.
I think I took it from right here.
Yeah, we'll take the bees. We'll push the frames over a bit.
Hi, girls. I know.
We didn't use any smoke when we first came in. They're a little unhappy. So I'm going to use some sugar water. This is less than a 1-to-1. I find that a 1-to-1 gets clogged. The syrup is a little too thick for the squirt bottles. So just dilute it. And look, what do we have here?
Calmness.
We immediately calm them down. They immediately have something to do. They're grooming. They're no longer paying attention to me. They're no longer getting agitated to me. I could use smoke, but
Again, everyone has their own way.
everybody has their own way. Do what you like to do.
How about the artificial smoke? Have you seen that?
I have. I don't like it as I don't like it. I prefer to use regular smoke because it lingers. The artificial smoke is liquid, and it can start to stain and be. I think it's a little more permanent than the vapor.
Oh.
That's just my personal opinion. Alden Merrill up in New Hampshire loves the liquid smoke. They teach that at the Merrimack Valley Beekeeping Club. Whatever your preference is, you go that way. My mentors didn't use liquid smoke, so that's what I...
Actually, that's the same stuff they use to smoke flavor food. Chefs use it.
Yeah, just get that at the supermarket. I've used it in a pinch, but it's not my preference.
Careful of, I'll take that and clean it up a bit before you get rid of it. But
it has some pollen, has some nectar, a lot of nectar. It's heavy. Here, I'll give this to you.
Got it.
Okay, so that's the frame Alan took out. Did you take that out of a different box and swap, or did you just put this in?
Swap that for that box.
Yeah, so that's all. It's all nectar. All. Here we have brood. So I make a little lip, push this on, this is where my thumb goes. Now use the here. Be very careful. So your last queen that you just introduced, really nice laying pattern. Now this is heavy. I would expect to see nectar on this side.
There is a lot of nectar.
A lot of nectar.
A lot of honey.
A lot of honey. It's getting capped. Some pollen over here on the periphery can be kind of hard to see since there's so many bees, but pollen around here. Fresh capped honey here. Some older nectar.
Sorry.
You're good. You're okay, girls.
So I don't see any queen cells here. Not raising anything.
Get out of the way, I just dropped a bunch of these. Oh, you know why? They're lost. Look it over there.
Huh?
Look it over here.
Oh, they don't know you took it.
Oh, yeah.
They're coming back.
Yep, those are your foragers coming back. So, nice thing about having a nuke is, okay, you could take a frame, a brood here, add it to another colony. You can add it to a production colony, and you already have a huge influx of nurse bees that can graduate to older nurse bees from the brood you're adding. And then the nurse bees that are currently there can get supplanted and become foragers. So you increase your foraging force.
Before you put that in, I'll take this one out to see so we don't do it.
Okay, I'm not seeing any queen cells, any queen cups here.
It's packed.
It is packed. So if you had another 5-frame box, you could put another 5-frame box on top. You could take frames out, add a frame of foundation. They'll start to draw that out really quickly.
Oh, geez, I just destroyed a queen. Look at that. The queen cell right in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
All the royal jelly there.
Uh-huh.
Well, maybe they can move it or something.
That's really cool. I've never seen
Oh,
that
here's a
before.
queen, emergency queen.
Oh,
We've got
yeah,
some
we got
scene. Got emergency queen cells. Now, they would be super seizure if you had a queen in here.
Okay. So
But
they're emergency.
These are emergency cells.
Okay.
Normally what you would expect to see with a super seizure cell is to be on the face here, going down.
Okay.
But when you have a queen that sort of looks like a pipe that's coming out, like an elbow pasta, that's an emergency cell right
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Right here. Right here. I'll turn that upside down for you.
Okay.
You just blow on them, they'll move.
It's over there somewhere, right?
Yeah, there you go.
We've got 2 right there.
Yep. Okay, got it.
But I don't see any eggs in here. I don't see any
Okay.
Queen jelly. So what you might want to do is take a frame that has eggs
Yes.
and add that in here so that they could raise a new queen. Or you could go out and buy a caged queen, introduce the caged queen, and have them. Then you don't have to wait 6 weeks for them to start building up again.
6 weeks.
Well, you have, if you add eggs, then you have 16 days until a new queen emerges. So that's 2 weeks. You have a week generally for her to go out and get mated. That's 3 weeks. And then you have 3 weeks from her starting to lay eggs to new brood emerges as adults.
Okay.
So you have 6 weeks for them to build up again.
Gotcha.
I'll take some of this stuff.
Now, but you have a nuke, and you can play with it.
There's the queen cell right there. So they just broke open.
Okay.
So I'm going to put that on the other side this time.
So you can play with it. You don't have a huge investment in equipment. You don't have a huge investment in honey production. You can use a queen to supplement one of your stronger colonies. You can use them to build comb.
Okay.
Oh, there's another queen cell right there.
Okay.
See that one?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Get in
I'm going to put this next to it and go very gently with it.
Oh, one just got me.
What?
One just got me.
there. Through 2 pairs of what?
Oh, no, just one.
Okay.
Not wearing the other one.
Oh.
Okay. Right at the end. Not doing anything. Just bam.
That's how it usually happens sometimes.
I agree. Okay. So there's the nuke.
Beautiful.
I'm afraid the nukes are just going to say, hey, we're too crowded here. That's it. We're out
Yep.
of here.
So what you can do is
Split them every so often.
Yeah,
split them every
split.
so often. Take some frames of,
I'm going to bring this back.
yeah,
right
you,
there now.
you take a frame of brood, put it into one of your weaker colonies, build that up. You can give it to one of your production colonies, have them continue producing honey. You can add a frame of foundation, have them draw that out. Lots of things that you can do.
This is funny. Look at that. They're attacking the other one. I don't even know if I have frames in there. Maybe I should put some frames in there, huh?
You can also add a second 5-frame box, have them build up. You can overwinter nukes 5/5. You can get those through winter. You can, if you have 2 5/5s, put them together. That's a good colony, good way to overwinter. You have your colonies here. You have nukes. The greater the number of your colonies, the greater the chances of overwintering survival, as long as you keep your mites low and their honey stores high. If you have healthy bees going into winter, you can make up for anything else. If you don't have a lot of bees, then you can add some insulation. If you don't have a lot of honey stores, you can add some carbohydrate stores. More bees, more resources to do different things with. Okay, I think we're done for today.
I want to thank Tony for coming out. He did an awesome job, and thank you very much, Tony.
And thank you to Alan for having us. Thank you for Emily for being our camera person. And hopefully we'll do this again in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And we'll try to do this until we can start getting together in person. Thank you very much. Have a good day.